Guess who's back, back again. Hello, hello. Great to see everyone again. I'm Sage, the host, the inbound sales rep as well. I'm going to give everyone a moment to join in the chat. A lot of great sessions that have taken place. Feel free, if you're comfortable, to share some things that you've learned so far in the chat. Again, if you have any questions, we've got experts as well as our team there to answer all of those questions. Now, in just a few moments, we are going to hear from Tiago on building a second brain, digital note-taking for creators. Again, that'll be with Tiago Forte. And just a little bit about Tiago. He is the founder of Forte Labs and the creator of Building a Second Brain. He is a productivity expert as well as the creator of the Second Brain system that has helped thousands of people make a much more fulfilling life. Now, we know that productivity and mental barriers are some of the biggest challenges that a lot of creators face. So this next session will absolutely be valuable to you. I promise that there is a lot of great information that you will take away. And let's welcome Tiago. Let's see some welcomes in the chat. Hi, Tiago. So nice for you to join us.
Hey, Sage. Great to be here. Hi, everyone.
Hello, hello. They're all saying hello to you in the chat. They love you in here, Tiago.
You know, it's funny. This isn't part of my prepared remarks, Sage, but it's just bringing back a memory of being in the Teachable Summit. I don't know if it was called that back then, back in 2015, 7 years ago. I was sitting where all of you are, all the participants, all the attendees. And I remember I was sitting in this cafe in Oakland, California, which is where I was living at the time. I had to be in the cafe because my internet in my apartment wasn't fast enough. I couldn't afford fast internet. I was trying to do the freelancing thing, thinking about just pondering the possibility of creating an online course. And I can remember, it just feels like it was yesterday, seeing these ultra successful people that just seemed so polished and so put together and had it all figured out, just giving me all the answers, all the secrets, all the insights. That was in 2015. 7 years later, we've sold over $7 million in course sales on Teachable.
Wow.
I have my little plaque here that you guys sent me, which I keep on my bookcase.
Very nice.
And it's absolutely surreal. It is beyond, what's happened is beyond my wildest imagination. So I want to thank, first of all, I don't know if you probably weren't there at the time, Sage, but I want to thank the whole Teachable team for putting on this incredible event.
Yes, absolutely. And again, we're so happy to have you. Was not with Teachable at that time, but I'm here now, happy to be here. And again, thanks so much for joining us. Without further ado, I will let you take it away. And then as far as the audience goes, we will have a Q&A session afterwards. So make sure you don't leave or go anywhere. Tiago, the stage is yours.
Yeah, awesome. So my goal today is to leave you with not just some nice insights, some nice light bulb moments, but a system. Okay, a system for digital note-taking, a system for knowledge management, which is the term that I have for that is a second brain. Okay, it's a second brain. Instead of using this brain, as amazing and wonderful as it is, can be creative, it can be spontaneous, it can come up with new ideas. There are certain other things that our brain is really not designed to do. We're not designed to keep track of tons of meticulous details over long periods of time. Our mind is not designed to memorize things. It's not designed for rote memorization, to just regurgitate things that we've heard in the past. And the system that I want to share with you is really my secret. You know, thinking back to that kid I was in 2015, this is what I would want to give to that person. This is like, if I could go back in time and give that young me just getting started on this journey a gift, it would be just a simple, basic system of digital note-taking. It's just a straightforward way of capturing the content that you are coming across every day and saving it in a place that you can access. Okay, so digital note-taking is our subject, and I'm specifically going to speak to creators, because that's what the summit is all about, right? Course creators, program creators, marketing creators, content creators, writing creators. Creators is this broad category for people who don't just consume information, we make things. We create, we produce, we publish. Okay, so all of this is based on, if you're wondering what the second brain is about, it's based on my course called Building a Second Brain, which is currently open from March 21st to March 30th. So you can join the 14th cohort, the 14th group of people that we are putting through this program only this week, actually. This is the window. So here's what I want to cover today. What, how, and why. What exactly is this thing called a second brain that you may have heard about, or maybe you're just hearing about for the first time now? How do I get started with it? I'm going to show you a few of the simplest, most straightforward ways that you can get started on today, that I want you to get started on today. And lastly, why? Like, why does it matter? What's the big deal? Why should this be at the top of your priority list with all the other things that you have to pay attention to? First, what? So I want you to think about all the content that you come across every day. Okay, this is really important. You have to grasp this, that I'm not asking you to go out and find some new information, some new content, some new insights. It's really just about paying. It's almost like, as a modern human being and a knowledge worker, you are standing, I almost imagine it like you're standing in this river, this raging river, this torrent of water, which is information coming at you. It's coming at you. It's flowing at you at 20 miles an hour. It's fast. It is high volume. You don't have to go and hunt down new insights. You just have to catch. You just have to reach out and grab. It's like grabbing the fish that are swimming right by you all the time. Okay. So when I ask people to think about what information they should capture, these are kind of some of the criteria that I ask them to look at. What is inspiring? That's the top left criteria there. Okay. Notice that there's certain pieces of information, a story, a testimonial, an image, a song that moves you. It moves you. It activates something in you. It inspires a feeling, an emotion, a sense of motivation, a sense of hope inside of you. Notice that you can Google for facts and answers, but you can't Google a feeling. You can't Google that sense of inspiration. The only way that I know of to create over time a sense of inspiration, which is really a sense of motivation and a sense of momentum, is every time something resonates with you, you save it. You save that photo that inspires you. You save that story that gives you motivation. Save those in your second brain. So when you need a pick-me-up, when you need a change of perspective, when you need some hope, you go in and look at those sources. I have a notebook in my digital notes app, which is customer testimonials. Every time that I feel like I can't keep going, it's too overwhelming, what I'm doing doesn't matter, it's not good enough, I just go into that notebook, read a few past customer testimonials, and my mindset is completely shifted. Second, is it useful? Think about the content you come across in terms of its utility. Okay, how is this useful? Is it a source, a statistic, a data point, an anecdote, a story from history? Think about, when you give presentations with slides, or when you write sales emails, or when you create the curriculum for your course, you need this raw material. You need proof, right? You can't just make unsupported assertions. You have to back it up with an anecdote or with some research or with some evidence. That is incredibly useful information. What would be possible if every time you came across something like that, you saved it? Third, easily lost. Okay. Think about the information that is just kind of random. You don't exactly know how you're going to use it, right? A quote from a book. Oh, what an interesting quote. Something about it strikes you, but you don't exactly have a specific place to put that information. The power of a second brain is that there's one. It's centralized. There's one place to put things, which means there's always one place to look. Okay. And fourth, is it personal? And this might be the most important one. Okay. Everyone has access to the same information on Google. Have you noticed? There is no advantage to knowing anything on Google or anything on Facebook or anything on Twitter that everyone else has access to, right? By definition, that is public knowledge. There's no advantage to be had from knowing those things. But personal knowledge, right? The insights and the takeaways you've had from personal experiences, failures you've had and successes you've had, mistakes you've made and victories, right? Unusual experiences, countries you've traveled to, unusual books you've read, exciting conversations you've had, events you've been to, the stuff that not everyone can access in an instant just by going online and doing a search. Now imagine, as this graphic shows, all of that knowledge, and not just knowledge as an abstract idea, but knowledge as these practical, concrete, visible things, which are digital notes, all flowing into your second brain. What would be possible if you could draw on the sum total of your life experience and the life experiences of others instead of having to come up with something right in the moment? This is what a second brain is about. Okay, it's when that moment comes to create something, anything, you are starting with abundance, the abundance of information and insights and takeaways in your second brain, rather than starting from scarcity, which is the scarcity of a blank page or an empty document. So when I say digital notes, you might be confused. What is a digital note? I have quite an expansive definition of a note. Okay. Yes, it is, you're in a call or in a meeting and you're like typing things and taking notes on whatever's happening. But that's not all a note is. Okay. A note is much more expansive than that. A note could be marketing assets. Okay. Think about us like a swipe file that marketers would keep, an image of an ad that you found compelling, a headline that you could draw inspiration from. Think about mementos, photos of precious memories during your entrepreneurial path. Think about new content that you have either created yourself or that others have created. You can save that content in a place that becomes like your own knowledge library. Think about favorites. When you favorite a website, when you bookmark or like a tweet, or you favorite a Facebook post, that is something that you could repurpose into your own creation. That can be a digital note. Think about notes from calls and meetings, right? You may think those have no value. I see those as having tremendous value. Wouldn't it be useful to be able to refer to the last conversation you had with your team? Wouldn't it be useful to refer to the last call you had with a client? Okay, all of these examples are these practical building blocks. All they are is some combination of text, images, links, and maybe attachments or documents, right? It's these simple things that we interact with all day, every day. But imagine if your business was fueled by all the kinds of content you see on this slide, rather than just whatever your fragile biological mind can come up with right in that moment. This is the approach to creation, to creating, that I want you to adopt. Okay, now let's get into the how-to. How exactly are you going to take advantage of this ability to save and repurpose content into your own work? So there's something here about the difference between paper and digital notes. You might be thinking note-taking and you're still thinking like pieces of paper, like little Post-it notes or legal pads or, moleskin notebooks. That's not what I mean by note-taking, okay? And there's a fundamental difference that has happened with note-taking in the transition from paper to digital notes, right? On the surface, seems like no big deal. We were taking notes on paper, now we're taking notes digitally. But something huge has changed, which is in the past, all these kinds of activities that you see on the screen, capturing, writing it down in the first place, identifying what exactly here do I want to take note of, titling, giving things good titles, citing your sources, doing searches, linking, indexing, moving, sharing, all these have actually been automated. That's right. Probably 60 or 70% of the labor, the actual effort that used to be required to take notes on paper has now been completely automated by technology. And this is like the message. This is the revolution that I want you to be part of, that I want you to know about, because people don't even seem to know about it. We can take advantage of technology to just automate, to take care of a huge portion of what was required in the past. Okay. So I want to get even more practical. I am literally going to share a screen of an app, of a device, and take you step by step through what it looks like. Okay? And what I'm going to do this with is a few different sources. Ebooks. If you read books at all, you are like an elite cognitive, you're like an elite ninja of information consumption. So few people read books these days. So few people have the attention span to read books. I know in my life, as I've become a father and started a family, it's getting harder and harder and harder to read books. So if you read books, you're already putting in 99% of the effort, 99% of the cognitive effort to read something. Just spend an extra 1% to save those highlights, and I'll show you how to do that. Second is online articles, right? And this includes everything from a New York Times article that you find on the web to a blog post on someone's personal blog to, something on the Atlantic or one of these, the Verge or some online publication. There's now a couple simple tools that you can use to capture any highlight you make in online articles. And then third, web pages, right? Even just a product page, the page for a business. I mean, everything that happens online in some form or another takes the form of a web page, and I'll show you how to save those highlights too. Okay, so let's start with ebooks. Okay, I read ebooks on the Kindle app on my iPad, which is a free app you can download, and then any Kindle ebook that you buy, you can read on your iPad. This also works, of course, on a Kindle device. You can even download the Kindle app for your desktop computer, Windows or Mac, and you don't even need an e-reader device or a tablet if you can't afford one or don't need one or don't want one. So ebooks have become super accessible, but what I'm about to show you is not very well known. Okay, so let's say I'm reading this book. This was a book I read called Profit First, which is about how to run a business. And I found this paragraph that was helpful. And I just felt something within me that said, hey, you should keep this. You should capture this. At some point in the future, this is going to become useful. So all I have to do as I'm reading, and this is important, in the flow of reading, don't have to switch to another app, don't have to take out another device, don't have to do anything extra. I just put my little finger down, my index finger, until the highlight begins, and then I just drag it, just like you see there, over only the part that I want to keep. Only the excerpt that I'm going to find useful. Then I hit the share menu up in the top right that you see there, hit email. I can even say what style that I want to export the notes. And it brings up the default email app on your device, and then I can just email it to myself. Okay, notice the little HTML attachment there. That is a document, an HTML document that has not the full text of the book, but only the highlights. Only a select few of the excerpts that I've said are critical to my work. Okay. And if you're wondering where I'm going to email this, many digital notes apps, for example, Evernote, which is the one that I use, give you a special email address. It's like this long string of, your username and then letters and numbers. It's kind of this long thing that I recommend you save in your contacts, and any email that gets sent to that address automatically gets added to your notes app. And actually in the next example, I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, now think about this. What did that take me? 30 seconds? Once you've spent the 5 to 10 hours it takes to read a typical book, why not take another 30 seconds to save the results, the output of that serious cognitive effort into your second brain? This is like just a complete no-brainer, you guys. If you're not doing this, just why? Like, why? Okay, I really recommend that you set this up. Let's look at articles. Okay. I'm a productivity expert, a productivity teacher. And one thing that I see a lot of people get tripped up on is they come across pieces of content in their day-to-day life, in their workday. And there's this constant tension, right? Let's say, your friend might direct message you this article, Externalities, Why We Can Never Do One Thing. And, oh gosh, my friend sent this to me. It feels so interesting. It sounds like it would really be valuable. It sounds like it would make me more productive. And plus, I don't want to let my friend down because, they recommended this to me. It'd be rude to not check it out. Oh, plus, this is kind of like related to productivity. So this will actually help my productivity. There's so many reasons, so many justifications for you to stop what you're doing and spend, what would it take? It says 8 minutes there, probably would take more like 10 or 20 minutes, right? That is not productivity, you guys. That is a distraction. The easiest way to get distracted is to go read productivity self-help content, telling yourself that this is helping, and it's not. Okay? So instead of interrupting what you're doing, instead of, interrupting your focus, interrupting the deep work that would actually make a difference, that would actually move your projects and goals forward, I don't want you to interrupt what you're doing and go off and read this article. I want you to save it. Okay, save it for later. And there's a category of read later apps that I'll show you in a second called read later apps. Okay, so here's what this looks like. Friend sends you this article, you open it, and first thing you might do is kind of scroll down and say, oh, like, let me get a sense of how long and complex this is. You can see it's quite long and quite complex. So what I'm going to do is hit the share menu and say Instapaper, and then switch over to Instapaper, which is my read later app of choice. And you can see within seconds, that same article appears in a nice distraction-free reading environment. From this point on, it's just like an ebook. It's exactly the same. I prefer dark mode because I often read articles at night. And I'm just going to go through and I'm going to highlight the passages, the sources, the quotes that I find especially compelling. Then I'm going to go over to Evernote, which is my digital notes app, and you can see, again, within seconds, every single passage that I saved appears in my digital notes app. Okay, and you may wonder, how did that sorcery happen? What the heck happened there? That was just a bunch of magic. It's not magic. It is a completely free tool. Okay, it's called IFTTT. I know it's a very strange name. It stands for if this then that. Okay, if this then that. And if you just go to ifttt.com, you'll find it. Okay, and what IFTTT does is it connects different apps that don't normally speak to each other. Right? So in this case, on the left, I have Instapaper, which is my reading app. And on the right, I have my digital notes app. Right? So on the left is where I consume. It's where things come in. It's like my inbox. And on the right, I have my second brain, where I want only the best parts to end up. Okay? So if you do a search on ifttt.com just search for what you see on the screen, append Instapaper highlights to Evernote. All you have to do is sign in with your Instapaper account, sign in with your Evernote account, and it will automatically, invisibly, silently, in the background, with no effort required on your part. That is the amazing part. It will just listen. It will look for any highlight made in any article in Instapaper and just sync it, send it straight over to Evernote for safekeeping. Again, completely free. Set it up one time and benefit forever. Let's do another example of a web page. Let's say you come across this blog post. You don't really want to save it to a read later app. You're already reading it. So you go through. Oh, so there's a Chrome extension called Liner at getliner.com, which you click in the top right corner. And then what it allows you to do is highlight, just in the very same way, passages on any website. Any website. Then notice there's an export to Evernote button, which I'm going to click. And seconds later, just that excerpt that I highlighted has been saved in my digital notes. From here, I can even go further and I can bold, which I often like to do, the best of the best parts, like the key sentence in this entire article. And from there, I could even share it. I could share it to a colleague, share it to someone who works for me, share it to a collaborator, right? Think about how much more effective it is to share just the excerpt, which might take 30 seconds or a minute to read. How much more likely that person is going to read my little excerpt than to read an entire article that might take 20 minutes that I send them. Okay, this is a far more distilled, actionable way to share knowledge with people in your network. Okay, let's skip that one. And of course, if you're looking for the easy path, the even easier path, there is a paid service. It's called Readwise, which I'm not affiliated with. I don't get any, affiliate fee. I just really love them. Readwise.io will basically connect all these sources together for you and just make sure it works more seamlessly without you having to do some of these manual steps. And it can pull from many, many dozens of different sources and works with maybe around half a dozen different digital notes apps. So I highly recommend you check out Readwise. Okay, so think about, I showed you just a few straightforward examples, but this can really work anywhere, right? You take some voice memos on a voice transcription app, export those, share them to your second brain. You read some interesting research in a PDF, export those excerpts to your second brain. You scan something or you draw something on a tablet, export that. You take a screenshot or you read an ebook or you clip a website. No matter where you are consuming or interacting with content, as long as it has a share button or an export button or even just copy and paste, send the best of the stuff that you find to your second brain so that it has that one centralized repository of all your best knowledge. Okay, so that was the how. And I want to talk a little bit about the why. Like at this point, you probably see the value. You probably see how this could save you time, keep you from getting distracted, provide raw material for you to bring into your own creation and your own output. But there's something even more kind of urgent about this. You're probably familiar with this idea of information overload, right? It's been around since the 90s, this idea that there's too much information for us to make sense of. And I think, that's been true for a long time. But I think there's something new happening here. We're crossing over into a new stage, which I call information exhaustion. Right? Overload is kind of this abstract term like, oh, my brain is feeling a little overloaded. Now it is a deeply felt feeling in your body, like in the pit of your stomach, that there is too much going on. There's too much to pay attention to. There's too many crises to track. There's too much incoming communication. And it's really starting to affect us, I think, on a psychological, emotional, even spiritual level. I mean, I see this. People are having their attention fragmented to the point they can't even read an article. We are having our attention so taken up that we're not present. We're not present with our families. We're not present in conversation. We are having our dopamine receptors hijacked to such an extent that we have trouble sleeping at night. I mean, I know I do. Do you experience that? Do you have the same symptoms? Okay. So part of this, we've talked about being a creator and creating your own writing and content and courses, but this is a matter of survival. It's a matter of having a basic quality of life. If your attention is not your own, if the basic moment-to-moment quality of your attention and your mental function is not there, what else matters? What else do you have? Think about just the future that we're heading towards. On the average day, we consume 174 newspapers worth of information. Okay, this was before the pandemic, actually. I need to update this, but before the pandemic, 11 hours per day we spent consuming information. Now it's probably significantly more. We consume the equivalent of 113,000 words per day, and it's going up 2.6% per year. If your relationship to information, the way you manage information is not working today, what is that going to be like in the future? What is it going to be like when you have 2, 3, 5, 10 times more information to keep track of, which also, by the way, as your business grows and your course succeeds, also is a big contributor to that. How about when you have a team, when you have people who work for you? How about when you're working with external consultants and contractors? All of that adds to this sum total of information that you have to keep track of each day. We live in this era of what I call FOMI, there's FOMO, which is the fear of missing out. Today, we have the fear of missing information, right? This is what keeps us trapped. This is what keeps us hooked to the drip feed of new updates, new all the time, is the fear, the anxiety that we're going to miss some crucial nugget of insight that is going to make all the difference, right? And you know what? This has been terrible for everyone, but as creators, it's debilitating, right? As a creator, you are someone that is not just passively sitting back and consuming. You have put a stake in the ground to create something new in the world. A new message, a new course, a new mastermind, a new product. Okay? It is even more important for you than the average person that you preserve the quality of your attention, the quality of your mind, that you not stay hooked onto the constant distraction and chaos and pointless controversy that is the internet. Okay, so this kind of leads to a paradox, which is to be a creator, to be successful, not just for a while, but for the long term. You know, we hear so much about creating in public, learning in public, building in public, and that is powerful. But in order for you to have something interesting and wise to contribute to the public, you first need a private place to think, right? You need a private place to develop and cultivate your ideas before you take them public, or else you're just kind of spouting off whatever comes to mind. That isn't what building in public and learning in public is really about. You need to switch a little bit, at least, from novel. We have this, neomania, this obsession with what's new, what just happened 15 minutes ago, 5 minutes ago, 1 minute ago. To be a creator and create something that is evergreen, that is going to stand the test of time, you have to switch your attention a little bit from just what is novel to what is timeless. What are the principles that will stand the test of time, that will be here forever? Right? What are the lessons that have been proven true over and over again in history, so that your course or your book or your talk doesn't go out of date as soon as, there's a new software update or the news cycle changes? You need to pay attention not just to what is sensational, but to what is subtle, right? This is the work that your audience is expecting of you. The reason you have something to offer them is you've done the work to figure out, to just think carefully about the subtle implications, right? The nuances of your field or your topic or the skill that you're teaching, right? The shortcut that you're providing is a shortcut based on just the quality of the thinking that you've put into these subtle aspects of your topic. And finally, obviously, as a creator, you can't just consume information, right? I'm here to tell you, it isn't one more tweet that's going to make the difference. It's not even one book that is suddenly going to, turn everything around. It is creating things that makes a difference. It is an essay that you publish that is really going to be a milestone in your work. It's actually putting that course out there. It's landing your first client. It's booking your first, corporate consulting gig. These real milestones that you are creating something new is what changes the trajectory of your career and your business, not some new supposed insight that someone has published online. Big picture is, this is probably your digital life. Most people that I see, that I work with, they have some good stuff in there on their computer desktop, their documents folder, in their browser bookmarks, the tabs open in their browser, in their email, in their social media favorites. It's there. It's just lost. It's hidden and obscured in the depths of this knowledge jungle, which means it's basically inaccessible. They have no access to the power of all the riches of their digital world. Personal knowledge management, which is the subject of what we're talking about, is really about unveiling your personal information landscape. It's unveiling what you already know, right? You can look out over this landscape and see, oh, there's some knowledge over there. There's a mountain of things that I know. Over here, there's a valley. There's things that I don't know. Here, there's a coastline, which are the edges of what you know, which is also valuable to know. Okay, my work is really about helping each person reveal their personal information landscape so that they just can capitalize on the existing value of what they already know, what they've already experienced, what they've already done in the world. As I've said, our course is open for enrollment. There's 100 times more to share that we are not going to get to today, but I hope that this gets you started on the basics of personal knowledge management.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tiago. That was fantastic. Never really thought about note-taking quite like that, but thank you so much for sharing all of that value information. And I think no matter what field that you're in, utilizing your second brain technique will open so many doors for productivity. So thank you so much for sharing all that with us.
Absolutely.
Of course. So we have a couple questions that we're going to go through together. So let's actually take a quick look here in the chat to see what questions might be coming in. That way we can get those answered. So let's take a look here. Do we have any questions in the chat here? I see one from Gary. So Gary wants to know, is there a good or easy way to save video content to a second brain?
Yeah, great question. So the examples that I showed you were text-based, because text tends to be the thing that people save the most. But there's many kinds of content, right? There's audio, video, GIFs, drawings, mind maps, transcripts. There's always a way. It's just how you do it. So let's take the example of video. There's two main ways that come to mind. So one is, let's say you go on YouTube, which is where a lot of us consume video online, right? A lot of people don't know about this feature, but in the corner of most YouTube videos, there's a transcript button. You can click that transcript button and a window will pop up, usually I think on the right, and it will follow along the transcript as the video is playing. And that transcript is actually automatically generated. You don't have to add it yourself. It's just, I think you might have to turn it on in the settings, but it's just automatically generated based on the audio. And so my first answer is, I often find my first reaction is, oh, this video is so awesome, I want to save it. But if I'm really honest with myself, the whole video wasn't awesome. There were a few highlights. And in really any piece of content, this is the case, right? The value of a piece of content is never just evenly distributed perfectly. There's like peaks and valleys, right? So often I don't need to save the entire video, right? Which would be a little more complicated because a video file is a large file. I just go into the transcripts, copy and paste that one sentence, that one takeaway, which has the timestamp right there, by the way. So in the future, if I need to go back and find where it was in context, I have the timestamp. I just copy it, just go over to my notes app, paste it, and that's all I really need to keep. The other thing I'd say is often, so video is a specialized kind of file that is quite large, right? So you really do not want to save entire videos in your second brain, right? That's not what a digital notes app is for. The performance is really going to start to slow down. It's going to really start to get bogged down. So what I would do is leave the video, the place that is most natural, which is a video hosting platform like Vimeo or YouTube or whatever. Leave it there because that's kind of just where it makes the most sense. It doesn't take up any of your storage space. It's easy to play with just a click, and just save a link to your notes. So what I would do is save a link to that video in my notes. Below that link, take some bullet points of what I wanted to learn from it. And if I ever want to rewatch the video, I just click the link. And because I'm on a digital device, it'll just open up YouTube or the browser or whatever and play the video again. That's the approach to videos that I'd recommend.
Awesome. Great question, Gary. Thank you, Tiago. We have another question coming in here. Do you have any recommendations for saving information from paper-based resources outside of the old-fashioned highlighting and indexing on paper?
Yes, I do. The Readwise app. The Readwise app that I mentioned in my presentation has an incredible, it's called OCR, Optical Character Recognition, which simply stands for you're reading a book, let's say on paper. I know a lot of people prefer to read paper books, which is totally fine. You open the book and you just take out the app, take a photo of the page, and the app will actually convert the photograph into text. And once it's in text, you can copy and paste it, you can edit it, you can annotate it. It's a really fantastic way of kind of getting the best of both worlds. You have the nice feel of a paper book, and then once you come across something you want to save in the cloud forever across, synced across all your devices, you just take out the app, takes a few seconds, save only that excerpt straight to your digital notes.
Awesome. We have another question here that I'm actually curious about. So, Tiago, I believe you have a book coming out soon. Is that right?
I do.
Perfect. You want
Yeah.
to tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so this is it's especially relevant to this audience because it is a book completely based on my course. And it's been, if any of you are writers or have any even inkling, I mean, when I created my course, it was the tiniest little spark in my brain that I would someday write a book. I didn't know what I would even write a book about. But after 5 years of teaching the course, right? Like think about the feedback that you get teaching a course, right? You're not just sending blog posts out into the internet. You are interacting with students. You're getting their comments. You're getting their problems. You're getting their pushback. You're giving advice. You're giving coaching. You are like in the mix. You're immersed in all the problems and challenges and obstacles and victories that people have. That experience is the ultimate place from which to write a book, right? You don't want to be an author just like writing things down. Oh, this seems like a good idea. This seems like a good idea. Every single thing that I put in my book had been tested and validated by at least like 100 students, right? And that's why I know the book, I mean, I don't actually know it's going to be successful, but I'm confident in it because there's not a single thing in there that was not tested through multiple cohorts of my course. And that's why I know it works. It's been tested. It's been proven. So yeah, the book is really just everything from the course that I've distilled down into this, timeless evergreen thing that is going to be published in the US on June 14th. And in 7 other countries. We have foreign publishing deals in 7 countries so far. It's really just my attempt to get this message and this material into as many hands around the world as possible.
Well, there we go. So I guess no excuse to anyone on not being productive, right? They can access it almost anywhere. And for anyone who actually does purchase a Teachable plan during this session, you are also going to get a copy of Tiago's book on us. And as long as you have a US-based address, we'll be able to send it your way once it is available. Now, for the first 30 people that purchase a Teachable plan during this session, you're also going to get a copy of Tiago's book on us as well. Again, as long as you have a US-based address, we'll make sure that we send it to you. And with that, Tiago, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to meet with us and be part of this summit. I learned a lot. I'm sure all the members that tuned in learned a lot as well. And thank you so much again.
Of course. Thank you, Sage. Teachable team, this has been amazing as always. It's, like I said, it feels completely surreal to be on this side of the stage after being on the other side so many times. But I just really want to encourage all of you watching, just go for it. There's never, ever, ever been a better time to get into online education. Like really, there hasn't. The whole world is moving to remote work and remote education and spending so much time online. You can give them the gift of spending that time enriching themselves and improving themselves rather than, consuming more mindless content. And I encourage you to really, commit to it and go for it. There's more opportunity and more possibility out there than you can imagine. You just have to stick with it and believe that what you have to offer the world matters and has the potential to change many lives.
Awesome. Thank you so much again. Thank you. Alrighty, so we have another great session coming up very shortly by Tori. But before that, I just wanted to go through again the special offer that Teachable is sharing with all of you today. So with the few minutes that we have here, just as a reminder, I'm going to go through this a little bit quicker again because we have a next section at 2 p.m. Eastern time. Now, if you are to join any of our sessions during this event, whether it is our basic, professional, or business plan, you are getting 20% off that order, as well as a ton of other goodies as well. So again, here's a quick breakdown of some of the different features and functionalities for those plans. Basic, you'll get 2 administrative licenses. Pro, you will get 5. Business, you will get 20. And then just pay attention to the transaction fees. What's great about the Pro and Business is that there is 0% transaction fees. Again, our support is super, whether it's live chat support, group coaching, or even our support at Teachable email. We're there to help you. Again, making sure that you get paid your way. We will help make sure that you can receive payments daily, weekly, monthly. We'll take care of the taxes. That way you don't have to worry about that paperwork, and we'll make sure we send you the appropriate information once that season comes around. Teachable University, right? Going back to school, tons of resources, videos, templates, sales pages, a lot of great information so we can help hold your hand and make sure you have a very quick ramp up start once you get started on Teachable. Again, a lot of great bundle content that will include tons of different courses from Emmeline Cortez, courses from Louisa Joe. We have powerful sales templates, email templates. All of this will be included. And then a couple of things we're offering. Again, free trials on ConvertKit, 30-day free trial with ConvertKit. We have a 30-day free trial as well of Community that you will get as well. Also, a free month to our Creator Starter Pack, so content curated by experts in this space, as well as all of the replays from this event. You'll have those for life. You can watch them over and over and continue to apply the knowledge that all of these keynote speakers are sharing with you today. Teachable HQ, you're never in this alone. Again, of course, you have support, but I think there's something to be said about collaborating with individuals in the same shoes as you, so you can connect, share ideas. Teachable HQ is that community aspect that you can be a part of when you join our plans. Group coaching, I mentioned, is going to be on the professional and the business plan. We offer it 3 days a week. Come on in, say hello to Monique, as well as some of the other onboarding specialists and customer success agents, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, with Fridays being open floor Q&A. And then this slide, remember, you won't need it, but 30-day money-back guarantee, so take a deep breath. Never been a better time to start with Teachable and try out everything that we offer. I encourage you to take a quick screenshot here. That way you can look at all of the goodies that we offer. If you do decide to move forward with Teachable, we would love for you to share that on your social media. Make sure that you tag Teachable, whether it's on your LinkedIn, social media, Instagram, Facebook. Also use our hashtag for the Teachable Summit, and we would love to show you some love for giving us a chance. Now, again, we have this amazing competition coming up as well that I want to make sure that I share with you all. So the competition will be to win $100,000 over the course of 6 months starting on April. So the creator with the highest single month earnings will win $100,000. Yes, promise the comment is in the appropriate place. The next 3 runner-ups will win $10,000, with the 40 additional runner-ups getting their course exclusively shared by Teachable. So again, to recap, the next big creator competition, first grand prize, $100,000, the next 3, $10,000, and then the next 40 runner-ups will get their course shared on Teachable. Now, again, want to highlight here that whether you are a new creator or you haven't done this before, or you've been doing this for a while, there really hasn't been a better time to get started. So what we'll do is we'll invite you to all of the training sessions, webinars, make sure we give you the support you need. That way you can feel successful during this competition. Lastly, the next top 4 creators, or the top 4 creators, will also get exclusive mentorship from Terry herself. That way you can, again, continue to get additional help. And what we'll do is we'll run through this video real quick, just so you can get a view of what that looks like before her next session.
The challenge gave me confidence because I realized, oh, I am doing something special, and there's something different about trade and travel. My name is Terry Gioma. I teach people how to supplement their income with trading stocks, and my course is called Trade and Travel. One of the things that really drew me into the challenge was the coaches. I wanted to get coaching and mentorship from some of the best in the game. I did not know everything that would come after the challenge. I was just like, oh, cool, it came through. Let me click, sign up my name, and I'm in. I had no idea that there would be this leaderboard and it would go to the world. One of my friends actually showed me the leaderboard. She sent me a text message and was like, Terry, I can't believe it. Like, have you seen this? And I was like, what are you talking about? You're number 1. And I'm like, what? I realized, oh, I am doing something special. As a creator, oftentimes we're doing things in a silo and nobody knows what we're doing. So it did feel good to have some recognition of my course of Trade and Travel and know that we were doing pretty well. Another fun thing about the challenge is that I was getting excited about how to stay at the top of the board, because I felt like, well, I made it to the top this 1 month, but next month someone else is going to do this launch and they're going to beat me. So then I had to get creative. Well, how do I stay at the top? I think people need to realize that, especially the new creators and the people that are starting small is a blessing, because then you can really pay attention to what people need. You have the time to really zoom in on where are they getting it, where are they not. That's really a blessing to start small. The top winners of the next big creator competition will actually get a virtual coaching session with me. I can't wait to see you and coach you as you go through the program.
Very, very exciting stuff. Again, the question really now is, do you want to become the next big creator? Again, these answers are rhetorical because it's yes, and I'm sure that you all will be. Now, We do have a break coming up before our next session that takes place at 2 p.m. Eastern time. I want to remind you guys, if for whatever reason you do not see it show up at 2, make sure to refresh your screens. Make sure that you are active in the chat. Any questions that you have over this entire session, we have experts in the chat that are there to answer your questions. So I will see you all very, very soon. Grab some coffee, do a little stretching, make sure you walk your dogs, your cats, take care of the kids, whatever you got to do. And I will see you all very, very soon.
Dude, I am a crier. Is this gonna make me cry? I don't know. Okay.
Nice headphones, by the way.
You can press play.
Hi Benny, this is Tiffany. I wanted to just say something nice about you real quick. I've always loved your videos because you help me to not be afraid to make mistakes.
Hi Benny, to me you teach bravery. Maintenant, je parle français avec mes enfants, especially Frankie. She's going to learn French. And that is a wonderful thing. And I thank you so much.
Penny, surprise. To me, you teach moms that they're not alone on their parental journey.
So I thank you for Penny, for being Penny, and for being wonderful and helping us each through our own journey of our special needs kids.
Jessica, thank you so much for allowing me to have a better quality of life, and also thank you for teaching me how to be an advocate for other women. So because of your leadership and leading the way, I'm not going to get emotional, but I can reach out to people too.
Time you've put in, the work you've done, the research you've done, we can expand our studios and now welcome the youngest students, and that's because of the work you've done.
Nicole, I'm 60, and you've taught me so much about how to reach for higher heights.
Because of the example that you've been, I am finally ready to transition out of a career that I've been in for 10 years. I really owe a lot to you.
Hi Asad, my name is Javed. I don't know if you know me. So I'm from India, Mumbai, and without you knowing, you contributed towards my growth. I even won, the biggest talent show in my country, India, and I'm the first magician to do it. So I'm really thankful to your contribution. Keep doing what you do.
I'm speechless right now. I know of that guy, I've followed his journey. I've been super impressed, but I've never spoken to him directly before. So to hear that he actually learned from 52 cards, that's mind-boggling. That's awesome.
When I see pictures of their kids and their families, and being able to see that these are things that they're able to go and impact others, you just realize that the reach is so much further. And I know that wouldn't have happened if I hadn't decided to use courses and if I just stuck with one-to-one. And it's just a lot in a little bit of time.
Well, I think the biggest thing is that I'm on the other side of this, but it was hard for me too. And I think that with most of the teachers on Teachable, they've gone through their own personal journey to get to where they are.
I grew up thinking that I was bad at language learning and that I didn't have the talent for it. And it's opened up a whole new world of possibilities to me. And I can see in their faces as they're telling me their stories that this is something that's truly been important to them and it's truly made an impact in their lives. And it's a privilege that I'm able to make that impact with other people.
Think about who do you want to help? I hadn't even met some of those people. I didn't even know what some of those people looked like.
I came into this just a mom who was really desperate to help her kid and then really wanted to share that information. You know that you're doing things for people, but then to see it all is